My wife doesn't work a normal job. She is the boss of an illegal company. Growing up in America, I always thought that I would get married to a girl who was either a doctor, lawyer, or a teacher. But my wife is none of those things. She is the boss of an illegal company. I didn't know what to expect when I first moved to Thailand. The culture is very different from the US. And so is the way people do business. I was shocked by how much money my wife was making in her lavish lifestyle. At first I thought she was involved in something illegal. It turns out that she was. The first time I met my wife, I was immediately drawn to her. She was beautiful, inside and out. We started dating and I quickly fell in love with her. I had never met a woman like her. She was confident, intelligent, and knew what she wanted. One day while we were having lunch, I asked her what she did for work. She told me that she was a businesswoman. I didn't push her to tell me more about her business, because I didn't want to seem nosy, but I couldn't help but wonder what exactly was she selling. The wedding was beautiful. We had a traditional Thai ceremony followed by a reception at a fancy hotel. All of our friends and family were there to celebrate with us. My wife looked stunning in her white dress. I couldn't take my eyes off her. After the reception, we went on a 2-week honeymoon in Bali. We stayed in a luxury villa and spent our days lounging by the pool and exploring the island. It was the perfect start to our marriage. When we returned home from our honeymoon, we moved into our new condo. It was modern and stylish. I loved it, but I couldn't shake the feeling that something was off. I couldn't put my finger on it, but something about the condo just didn't sit right with me. One day I was home alone when I heard a loud bang. I went to investigate and found that one of the walls had collapsed. I called my wife to let her know what had happened. She told me to go next door and borrow some tools to fix it myself. I did as she said, but when I returned home, I couldn't get the wall back up. I called a few of my friends to help me. They arrived and we got the wall fixed. A few weeks later, another wall collapsed. This time I called a professional contractor to come and take a look. He told me that the walls were improperly built, and that they needed to be torn down and rebuilt. I agreed and he got to work. It turned out that the illegal company my wife was running was a prostitution ring. I was shocked. I couldn't believe that she was involved in something like that. But then again, this is Thailand. Prostitution is legal here, but running a prostitution ring is not. I tried to talk to my wife about it, but she just laughed it off. She told me not to worry about it and that everything was fine, but I couldn't help but feel uneasy about it all. She told me that she had been doing this since she was 18 years old. She had a lot of connections and knew how to make money. I didn't ask her any more questions after that. I didn't want to know anymore. We had been living in our condo for a few months when I started hearing strange noises coming from the walls. I couldn't figure out what they were at first, but then I realized that they were voices. I could hear men and women talking loudly, sometimes arguing. It was disturbing. I confronted my wife about it, but she just shrugged it off. She told me not to listen to those voices and that they were nothing, but I couldn't help but wonder who was she hiding in those walls. I decided to investigate on my own. I took matters into my own hands and started drilling holes in the walls. I didn't find anything. I started tearing down the walls, and that's when I saw them. There were 2 secret passageways behind the walls. I was shocked. I couldn't believe that my wife had been hiding these. I went through one of the passageways, and it led to a small room. In the corner of the room, there was a safe. I tried to open it, but it was locked. I found a key and it opened the safe. Inside there were stacks of cash and a passport in my wife's name. The passport showed that she had traveled to many countries around the world. Some of the countries are known for their sex tourism. I was horrified to realize that my wife was a sex trafficker. I had married a monster. I didn't know what to do. I felt betrayed and angry. I wanted to leave her, but I couldn't. I was too afraid of what she might do. I tried to keep a normal life. I went to work every day and tried to act like everything was fine, but I couldn't shake the feeling that I was living with a monster. I hated myself for not doing something about it. One night I came home from work and found my wife crying. She told me that she was sorry and that she would stop seeing clients. I believed her and forgave her. I didn't want to live like that anymore. The following week I started hearing strange noises in the walls again. I confronted my wife about it, but she just lied to me and said that I was imagining things. But I knew what I was hearing. I went back to the safe and found another passport in my wife's name. This one had stamps from all over Southeast Asia. I was furious. I confronted my wife and she finally confessed everything to me. She told me that she was running a human trafficking ring. She would lure young women from poor families to come to Thailand and work for her. Once they arrived, she would force them into prostitution. She also told me that she had been working with the police and that they were in on it all. I was disgusted by what I heard. I wanted to call the police, but I knew that they wouldn't do anything. They were corrupt. I knew that if I called them, my wife and I would be arrested. I didn't want to go to jail. I decided to flee Thailand and go back to the US. When I arrived in the US, I went straight to the police and told them everything that my wife had done. They arrested her and she was extradited to the US to face charges. In court, my wife's lawyer tried to say that she wasn't guilty, that she was just a businesswoman, but the evidence against her was overwhelming. She was convicted and sentenced to 20 years in prison. I know that what my wife did was wrong, but I can't help but feel bad for her. She grew up in a poor family and never had a chance at a good life. She used her beauty to get ahead, and I guess that's what got her into trouble. I don't know what the future holds for me. I will never forget what my wife did, and I'm sure that other men in similar situations feel the same way. It's hard to trust someone when you know that they're capable of such evil, but I have to move on with my life. I have a son who deserves a happy father. I hope that one day I can find love again, but I'll never forget my Thai bride. This is a crazy story, but it raises some interesting points about Thai culture, so let's talk about it in the comments below. Do you think the husband did the right thing by running away, or should he have tried to fight his wife's crimes? Let me know your thoughts, and don't forget to subscribe for more crazy stories.